viewer. Welcome to Chungu Jamii. My name is Betty Akuku. I am your host today. And today I am joined by a guest who is going to be taking us through a very important discussion. When a man grows and is flexing his muscles, all he knows is that he is a man enough. But what does it take to be a husband? I am joined by Dixon, who is going to be taking us through this discussion and letting us know more behind just a man. Welcome, Dixon. Please introduce yourself and take us through this.
Thank you very much, Betty. My name is Dixon, as Betty has said, um, and I'm a husband, a father,
Mhm.
and now even a grandfather.
Congratulations.
Yes. So I have been married uh,
Mhm.
for 37 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm still active
Mhm.
in business and in school.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so I look after many things.
Okay.
Mm.
That's good. Welcome to the show, Dixon. So, we are talking about the role of a husband. You know, when young boys are growing up, they're flexing their muscles, they're looking at their age and the things that they are doing, and they're all looking up to being some grown up men someday. But what exactly does it take to be a husband? Just meeting a woman?
Well, to be a husband,
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost, you must have made a decision at some time that you want to get married.
Okay.
And to get married, you must
Mm-hmm.
identify your spouse to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be somebody who can be able to court a girl
Mm-hmm.
and take her through that period
Mm-hmm.
and be brave enough to find a time to propose to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then during that time of courtship,
Yes.
of course, you need to discuss many things
Mm-hmm.
about your lives together.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make plans together,
Yes.
what you're going to do
Mm-hmm.
as a husband when you become one.
Yeah.
And of course, she will tell you what she wants to be when she's a wife.
Mm-hmm.
And so this together uh, helps in the
Yeah.
long term once you
Mm-hmm.
become a husband.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Many young people today are not really exactly doing that.
Yes.
They are waiting to be proposed to by the girls. Yeah, so when you are a husband,
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't begin there. It begins uh, in the manner that God has made you the head of the home.
Mm-hmm.
God is the one who identifies you and makes sure that you are the head, and
Mm-hmm.
He asks you to get a helper.
Yeah.
Now, as the head of the home, you have to
Mm-hmm.
identify yourself uh, with God, and
Mm-hmm.
also know that you have duties, roles,
Mm-hmm.
and responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
as a husband.
Okay.
So you cannot just take it up and then forget about it, because
Mm-hmm.
there are so many roles you have to play
Mm-hmm.
as a husband.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, when you have uh, gotten married to this lady,
Yes.
you have to love her,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to show her love,
Mm-hmm.
express your love
Mm-hmm.
for her.
Yes.
Number two, I want to say also that you need to be a protector of her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even
Uh,
before we get to the protection
yes,
and expressing your love,
yes,
Dixon, as you had initially mentioned, that he needs to get up to the place where he has courage and boldness to propose to a woman. And that is like the first step of beginning this journey. You know, there are men that are so timid and so much intimidated, I don't know by what, that you have to go looking for a woman or a spouse for them. They cannot make this bold step, you know. What does it really take? Is it that there's something they have not identified about themselves, or they need to sit down and get a structure of this is the family I want to build? This is the kind of wife that is it that they have no idea what kind of home they want, that now their aunties and their relatives have to go looking for a woman for them? Is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah, I would say that uh, to be a man and
Mm-hmm.
to be a man enough to be able to propose to a lady,
Yes.
you must know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you know what you want, you will go for
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yes.
And one of the things is that these days,
Mm-hmm.
uh, men, or shall I say, are they still boys,
Mm-hmm.
find it difficult
Mm-hmm.
to go and propose to a lady.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe looking at life today, uh, it's not the way it was in those days, in the
Mm-hmm.
past.
Mm-hmm.
These days, there are equal opportunities for everybody, and you find that ladies are well educated.
Yes.
They have gone to school, to
Yes.
universities.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they begin even to get jobs,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes even before the men do get jobs. And
Yes.
you find that they are well equipped. They know what they want,
Mm-hmm.
and they are ready for it. And
Mm-hmm.
so the ladies seem to uh, be able to be the ones to go and propose.
So there's still
I
the
think,
race.
yes, the tide seems to have to be changing. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that a man who knows what he wants and has seen the lady that he wants,
Yeah.
and in spite of her status,
Mm-hmm.
will still be able to propose to her. And
Mm-hmm.
because he knows this is the lady I want, this is what she has, she
Mm-hmm.
can do this and she can
Mm-hmm.
take care of this. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what I need in my life. And so
Mm-hmm.
begin to uh, express himself properly
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
adequately so that she understands him and she
Mm-hmm.
knows him
Mm-hmm.
from the point where he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is what needs to be done. And
Mm-hmm.
many young people are finding difficulty when they see that this girl has already gotten a job, she's already driving a car,
Yeah.
perhaps she's already gotten a house, and so
Mm-hmm.
she's kind of independent. And
Mm-hmm.
he himself has not
Mm-hmm.
even begun. So he
So
finds,
what is that? What is
yes,
that right there, Mr. Dixon, that
yes,
makes this man feeling timid because, or intimidated because, if you already know what you want, and as you well put it, status should not distract you. You know, you should know exactly what you want and go for it, overcoming the status of the woman you have identified. If she is the one that you truly want to make up your family with, then in spite of her status and achievements, that should help you to go over that barrier. What is this, that this man lacks? Because he cannot be husband enough if he is already intimidated by a house or a car or a good job that the woman has, you know
yeah, that's
because he's
exactly,
not going into to do some other thing. He is going to be the husband, understanding that he's going to be the leader, as you initially said it.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That when he has identified this lady and
Mm-hmm.
he knows her status,
Mm-hmm.
and he should not be intimidated at all because
Mm-hmm.
um, he should be able to express himself
Mm-hmm.
and very clearly begin to make plans with her if that is the way he wants to go. He
Mm-hmm.
should be able to express his love. And then from that step, he begins
Mm-hmm.
to express what he wants in life and
Mm-hmm.
the way he wants to go about it. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, he will be able to take one step at a time and
Okay.
make certain promises, of course,
Mm-hmm.
that life is not always stagnant, life
Mm-hmm.
changes. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, if he paints a very good picture of the future, then I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that the lady will get to understand and will
Mm-hmm.
be able to accept him the way he is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this man has gotten married. He has become a husband, of course, after making that important progress. So, how does he live moving forward? How does he overcome these kinds of barriers of status and continue being the leader and the head of this house?
Yeah, becoming a head of the household,
Mm-hmm.
that is God given, as I said
Okay.
earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that is a position that the woman cannot take, uh,
Mm-hmm.
in spite and despite the position of the man. But it depends also on how he conducts himself,
Yes.
how he positions himself,
Mm-hmm.
and how he identifies the things that he needs to do in the house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, the wife will always accept what the man says when it is said in a reasonable way,
Mm-hmm.
in a manner that convinces her, in a
Mm-hmm.
manner that she understands. And
Mm-hmm.
so the two of them should be able to work together,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that he is the head and she
Mm-hmm.
accepts him and she
Mm-hmm.
submits to him
Mm-hmm.
as the head of the home.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when they make together plans of
Yeah.
how they want to live and how
Mm-hmm.
what they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes easier when the plans are open, not when they are closed to one person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, people like what they see and they also believe what they see. The things that are unseen is not so difficult, it's not easy to follow. And so a woman probably wants to submit to a man who is able to show leadership. But sometimes people equate headship and leadership to property and to ownership of some things. Because how does a man still guide boldly and takes his position? I like what you say that he's the head and the woman cannot take this in spite and despite of the things that she owns or in spite of her status. But then now it's not easy for a woman to submit to a man who is not a contributor of anything, you know? So, how does this man take up his role as the leader and as the head, even without material substance?
Okay. I would say that things that are seen are quite good.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that you can touch and you
Mm-hmm.
can appreciate.
Yes.
But there are certain qualities that
Mm-hmm.
somebody can have which are unseen, but
True.
which are more indispensable
Yes.
because they give more value to life and can give more value to the couple when they are
Yes.
married. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say that before you get married, you need to understand each other well and know
Mm-hmm.
each other well so that
Mm-hmm.
you know how you will relate to one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you make the vows and you
Yeah.
promise each other that
Mm-hmm.
you are going to love each other and you are going to build your house together,
Yes.
I believe that when you start, despite and in spite the man maybe not having material things,
Mm-hmm.
uh, he should be able to work his way up
Mm-hmm.
and show the woman that he loves that indeed I'm doing the best I can. And you can
Mm-hmm.
see that we have, at least we have peace in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We love each other. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, you cannot eat love, but you can be able to show that step by step, as you go along, he's able to acquire whatever he needs to do, whether it is education, whether
Mm-hmm.
it is getting a job, whether it
Mm-hmm.
is doing something extra in business. He should
Mm-hmm.
show that he can be able to do that and bring in some income to be
Mm-hmm.
able to supplement whatever she may have
Mm-hmm.
and therefore be able to continue. Because when they make the vows, they say that whatever she has is his and
Mm-hmm.
whatever he has is hers. So the
Mm-hmm.
two bring their, bring their income together and they are
Mm-hmm.
able to support one another.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what are some of the roles that now the husband has to perform in his home?
Yeah, there are many duties that I said the husband needs to perform. and
Mm-hmm.
one of them is to protect his wife.
Okay.
There are many things that could happen, maybe with friends,
Mm-hmm.
uh, if they are bad friends or friends that can influence somebody in a different way, which is not good.
Mm-hmm.
There also could be relatives
Yes.
from both sides who
Mm-hmm.
could influence his wife in a different
Mm-hmm.
way. And that
Mm-hmm.
is something that he needs to stand up and to
Mm-hmm.
protect his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
what the two of them say should be one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they agree that this is the position we are taking, this is
Mm-hmm.
the way we are going, then
Mm-hmm.
whatever she says, even if it is in his absence, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody else comes and says, "Oh, this is what I know," you should be able to say, "No, I know my wife very well, and I
Mm-hmm.
know the position she has taken, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that is correct." So that is protection
You
from.
know, if that was happening, Mr. Dixon, then we would not be having fights. There would be no fights. I think every home would be so, so peaceful. But today, people are fighting. There's a lot of domestic violence, there's a lot of separation and divorce just because one person is seemingly not doing their role. I think that we have been told lots of times that whenever there's a problem, then whoever you blame or takes accountability is the leader or the head, you know. But the man sometimes is influenced deeply by his relatives or even his own parents that they forget they have a protection role back at home. What makes him so unstable that he finds himself leaning on where he has come from other than where he is now the pillar and needs to build it?
Indeed, that does happen many times. But
Mm-hmm.
as I said before, when you have the same stand, when
Mm-hmm.
you understand each other well, when you know
Mm-hmm.
each other's thoughts, even at some
Mm-hmm.
point,
Yeah.
you need to know that you can protect each other. And that's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying that the head of the house, when he knows his wife well, he can
Mm-hmm.
protect her, whether he's inside or outside. And sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
happens even when you have children. You know, children
Mm-hmm.
can come and tell mommy, "Oh, this is what we want, this is," and then go and tell daddy, "Oh, mommy said yes." But of course, when mommy and daddy
Mm-hmm.
know that this is our position, the
Mm-hmm.
children cannot play around and go and twist one person or twist the other. They
Mm-hmm.
know very well the position. And
Mm-hmm.
so they will be able to respond in a similar way. You will
Mm-hmm.
be able to say, "I know mommy didn't say that. Do you want me to check with her?"
Mm-hmm.
And so, the child will not be able to manipulate. And
Yeah.
so, when you are together in
Mm-hmm.
position, and that's why it's important to discuss uh, and be open to each other so that
Yeah.
other influences don't come between the two of you. When you have
Mm-hmm.
discussed and you know what you believe, both of you, then
Mm-hmm.
nothing can come between. But when you have not discussed, when
Mm-hmm.
you have not evaluated your position, when you have not said to each other, "Oh, this is what I want to be done and to be done this way," then of
Mm-hmm.
course other people can come in, relatives can
Mm-hmm.
come in, friends can
Mm-hmm.
come in, and they
Mm-hmm.
can be able to manipulate and twist and tell you
The
things which
relationship.
are not correct. And so that brings in even quarrels and
Mm-hmm.
fights. And
Mm-hmm.
so you find that it is just because at the beginning you did not agree on what to do.
Mhm. From the ancient times, we have had many accusations and complaints about the men always saying, "It is this woman." You know, from the times of Adam, this has always been the accusation. "It is this woman that you gave me. It is this woman that is destroying my home." Of course, I know there's that part that talks about the woman is the one who destroys and builds. But I still insist on the head being the one taking responsibility. The man with his ego, how is he able to overcome this kind of egocentric character to just be the one who humbles and builds his home?
Yeah, of course, between the man and the husband and the wife, there are
Mm-hmm.
areas where there can be blame.
Yeah.
Uh, One can blame the other, and
Mm-hmm.
but of course, when as you refer to the story of Adam,
Mm-hmm.
you find that even when the woman was being tempted,
Yeah.
Adam was present. He was
Mm-hmm.
not absent.
Yeah.
He was seeing what was being done, he was hearing what was being done, and he said nothing. And so the blame cannot only go to the woman, it can
Mm-hmm.
also go to him because
Yeah.
he was not absent.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I'm saying is that if the two, even from the beginning, agreed that
Mm-hmm.
we shall not eat this fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and Adam should have cautioned his wife, oh, God said we should not eat this,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Mm-hmm.
so he should have spoken. So, what I'm saying is that husbands should speak to their wives
Mm-hmm.
and correct them where they are going wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
instill in them insight where
Mm-hmm.
there seems to be no insight, and to
Mm-hmm.
also help where there
Mm-hmm.
needs to be help, so that the two of them can work together and avoid situations where blame will come in and quarrels will come in and fights will come in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, even without a husband failing to have his own biological children, he is still the husband, he is still the man of that home, he is still the head, and he is still the protector. What other role is there for the husband to play in his marriage?
Yeah, there are several roles
Mm-hmm.
also which the husband has to do. One of the
Mm-hmm.
roles is
Mm-hmm.
to listen to his wife.
Okay.
He needs to know what she wants to do. He needs to know areas where she has anxieties. He
Mm-hmm.
needs to know her plans. And
Mm-hmm.
so he needs to be a listener so
Mm-hmm.
that he can share
Mm-hmm.
in the things that she needs to do in her life. And
Mm-hmm.
this makes it a lot easier when he listens and he understands, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore, as I said earlier, they can plan together and do
Mm-hmm.
things together.
Mm-hmm.
When a husband does not listen,
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes very difficult for the wife
Mm-hmm.
because then he finds that he is making his own plans and he's going his own way. And
Mm-hmm.
then in the long run, then the wife also makes her own plans and goes her own way. And
Mm-hmm.
so you find that
This
there's,
one I like. I like that which you were bringing up, that the husband should listen to the wife. That is really important. You know, people have been accused, or rather, some men have been accused of listening too much to their wives. But there are also some old people who say that the homes that are standing today are those homes where the husbands are actually listening to their wives. But on the other hand, men with their ego, as I mentioned, would not want to bend so low, to stoop so low to the point of receiving guidance from the wife. What do you think about these two positions? So confusing, I guess.
yeah.
Mhm.
When I say that the husband should listen to the wife,
Yes.
it just means that the two of them came together as a couple.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The two of them decided to plan together. The two of them decided to live together.
Mm-hmm.
And so when one listens to the other, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that one loses their position.
No.
The man is still the head.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to points where decisions are being made and
Mm-hmm.
they are collective decisions, it
Mm-hmm.
makes it even stronger
Mm-hmm.
that they are doing things together.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, some people will tell you outside there
Yes.
that you are bending too low and you are not doing the way a man should do and you should
Mm-hmm.
not listen.
Mm-hmm.
But when trouble comes or when problems come, they
Mm-hmm.
will not be there to assist you. They will have taken off and left you alone in your house. And so
Mm-hmm.
you should build your own house the
Yes.
way God designed it to be built.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I should have said initially is
Yes.
that you two, the two of you, husband
Mm-hmm.
and wife,
Yeah.
should actually have an altar in your house,
Mm-hmm.
altar where you pray to God and
Mm-hmm.
put your plans there before
Mm-hmm.
God, so
Mm-hmm.
that when you have discussed with your wife and agreed and then put them before God, then you
Mm-hmm.
know that these things can actually be actualized when they
Mm-hmm.
come into fruition.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe in listening, and I expect that a man who knows the value of his wife will listen
Mm-hmm.
to her. And
It
also,
doesn't change their position.
it doesn't change, yeah. And
Yes.
so also you find that women
Mm-hmm.
or wives do
Mm-hmm.
have a sixth sense.
Yes.
Sometimes with men do things, but there's always a sixth sense which a woman has. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very good and critical that a
Mm-hmm.
man listens to his wife and make plans as when and they conclude those plans together in that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's really interesting. A very good point out there. I hope that a lot of men have noted that exactly. Before we get to maybe listening to the next role of a husband, I had said that you had mentioned that the husband is the head, he's the protector, he's the one who keeps and shields his wife from, the attacks around her, from your friends and from her friends, and also from your relatives as well. I wonder how possible it is. Maybe you could tell us that in your next role, how a man is able to separate these two. You have talked about them talking together, understanding each other, and knowing each other very well. But now, how does he make such a clear distinction, such that even when the wife is wrong, because it's not all the time that his relatives will be wrong and his wife will always be right. Even when his wife is wrong, how does he make that distinction and know for sure that this is a part of me forever and these are relatives that I already got out from?
Yeah, of course, where there are different views of things, certainly there can always be conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps even if your wife is wrong in, a,
Yes.
in certain situations,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you don't have to go out there and broadcast it that my wife is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways and means that you can call her and sit her
Mm-hmm.
down and
Mm-hmm.
talk with her. Of course, show her that what is happening is like this or like
Mm-hmm.
that, and
Mm-hmm.
other people's views are also important in this matter. And
Mm-hmm.
so, as much as we understand each other, we need to know that we can accept certain different views. And so, I believe that uh, it is not for the husband to tell her out in the open that you are wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
can find a way, a better way, a nicer way, a softer way of telling
Mm-hmm.
her that this thing can be handled differently.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, uh, not make her uh, lose face or not make her, ashamed or embarrassed in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, she will still believe in you. That way, she will still feel protected. And
Mm-hmm.
that way, she'll still feel that you can inspire her to do other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are many women groupings and organizations, and we've heard of chamas and all these things. There's a lot of women empowerment going on. And when women meet for such kinds of things and events, they're able to express a lot since women, they vibe too much. Unlike men, they are a little bit silent and quiet on issues that affect them. Uh, but women will talk and talk, you know. So when women meet and they're able to discuss all these things, where is it? Because they learn a lot and now come up to kind of take up the duties in their home. They come and take up even the responsibilities that should be done by the man. Where is the man failing that women are now being empowered to rule and take up their homes?
Yeah, I believe that the woman who is being inspired is the woman in Proverbs 31. If you read the scriptures, uh, she goes
Mm-hmm.
out and does everything, and the
Mm-hmm.
man actually literally just sits at the gate and talks with the other men in that respect. I believe that when a woman goes out to chamas and they talk a lot and they build
Mhm.
themselves up,
Mhm.
that is an area even where the man can give her encouragement and
Mhm.
support her and
Mhm.
help her to know that I like what you're doing and I believe in what you're doing, and this
Mhm.
is helping even in our home. So
Mhm.
inspire her and even support her, even
Mhm.
if it is financial and you are capable, give
Mhm.
her money, let her
Mhm.
contribute to those chamas and
Mhm.
build her up. And so
Mhm.
that the image that she's creating is a much better image. She
Yeah.
becomes stronger and
Mhm.
able to even contribute better even in the
Mhm.
home. Yeah.
Some of them are doing this because the husband is dormant, you know, because the husband is not playing his role. What mistake, where have the husbands gone wrong when it comes to this? Then now the wife has to take up his role and supply and provide for the family.
Yeah, I believe that some men, and I cannot
Mm-hmm.
say it is all the men,
Yeah.
some men become dormant and
Mm-hmm.
they neglect their duties. They don't want to even to look for work.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to go out and do business. They
Mm-hmm.
don't want to go even to college. They are
Mm-hmm.
just there.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a point where uh, a man should turn around. And even if it takes his wife to tell him that you need to turn around, I
Mm-hmm.
believe that is a correct route because
Mm-hmm.
we were not made to be stagnant. God
Mm-hmm.
made us with two hands and eyes and ears and mouths to speak, and he made us a people who should be active, so that
Mm-hmm.
even at the beginning, Adam was given work to do even before Eve came. So
Mm-hmm.
man should not just sit there and just be quiet and do nothing. He should not
Mm-hmm.
be seem to be dormant. He should be active.
Mm-hmm.
Find something little to do, even if it is selling maize. Go out there and make a little fire and sell maize, and
Mm-hmm.
talk to people on the street. And if it even if it means to push a mkokoteni, go out there and push one and get something. If it
Mm-hmm.
needs to be a matatu tout, go there
Mm-hmm.
and just to bring passengers into the matatu. Do
Mm-hmm.
something that will
Mm-hmm.
create an activity so that you are able to bring something back home. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that when men are leaders, they should show their wives that they are leaders by doing something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How would you say when it comes to one of the roles of the men as leadership, you know, how would you separate leadership or clearly define it, separating it from just dictatorship? Because there are husbands who just give commands and they do nothing else. They just say, I want this done and done in this way because they are only dictators. How do you separate that from good leadership?
I think I've said before that when you are a leader,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot be a leader of nobody or a leader
Okay.
of, yeah, you must be leading somebody. And
Mm-hmm.
so you need to be able to calm down and sit down and discuss, talk, express yourself, know what
Mm-hmm.
you want, and hear what the other person wants. And in that respect, you become a leader when decisions are being made because you have accepted, embraced all the discussion, all the views, point of views, and you now know which way to go. So you can
Mm-hmm.
decide. I think if we go this way, this is the
Mm-hmm.
best route, or if we
Mm-hmm.
go this way, I think this will be a better route. So leadership does not mean dictatorship. Leadership it means that you are able to embrace the views, points of view from the other partner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dixon, there are husbands who argue that they have done their role. They say they have paid the house rent, they have bought food, they have paid school fees, they have bought clothing, and they have done all these physical things that can be seen. And they are able to boast and say, we have done our role. Is that good enough? What other thing haven't they done? Other than just paying rent, is that what a husband is for?
Yeah. um, I believe that when you are a husband and you
Mm-hmm.
are connecting well
Mm-hmm.
with your spouse,
Mm-hmm.
that is the key thing that you need to connect well.
Mm-hmm.
When you do things and you do not connect, then of course there can be disparities, there can be differences, and there can be ways, times when you don't agree at all.
Mm-hmm.
But when you make the right connection
Mm-hmm.
in terms of discussions and in terms of agreeing with what is right, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that you just agree with what is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You can be very firm in saying no
Mm-hmm.
because you have certain beliefs and you say, no, I don't agree with this.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot do this because of
Yeah.
this reason.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you also listen, as I said earlier, and you embrace what is right and you accept it so that it helps you to build up. And so connecting well makes things move well so that when you are even challenged in certain decisions,
Mm-hmm.
you are able to reason out and say, I arrived at this because of A, B, and C, and so
Mm-hmm.
that you are able to connect well. And in certain situations, you build up that position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I listen to you, I realize that the man's roles are quite huge. And I'm wondering from where I am, does he really need a mentor? Of course, I think so. But who mentors the husband?
Uh, when you are identified as a father,
Mm-hmm.
you are able to mentor. One, you must be present.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot mentor when you are absent.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be present.
Mm-hmm.
And the key thing is the person who is being mentored sees you doing. And that's why I said you cannot be dormant. You have to be doing something so that
Mm-hmm.
you are seen.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are seen, then you can be able to encourage the other person and show them the way and talk to them that this is the way it is done. When
Mm-hmm.
they ask you why, you know you can explain and say
Mm-hmm.
this is the way, the best way. It has worked, or I believe it will work, and so on
Mm-hmm.
and so on. So, out of your experience or out of your past experience, you are able to engage and be active and mentor by talking and
Mm-hmm.
doing.
Mm-hmm. So you are able to mentor other people, but who mentors you as a husband?
Myself,
Yes, who mentors, not even yourself, but who mentors a husband? Because husbands may feel that there's so much expectation on them, there's so much for them to do, the society requires too much, and they are the leader and the head, and so they feel like they need to deliver. But then who are they tapping from? Where are they drinking from?
yes, I believe that there are very, very many forums that
Mm-hmm.
a husband can be mentored from.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for instance, I'll just give an example.
Mm-hmm.
In churches,
Yeah.
you find that there are forums where men meet and they can exchange ideas, they can
Mm-hmm.
talk, they can
Mm-hmm.
learn how to do certain things, and in that way, they can learn how to be good husbands. Even those ones who are yet to be husbands, uh,
Mm-hmm.
when they join certain groups, they are mentored well, and they are able to learn the ropes so that when the time comes for them to become husbands, they already know one, two, or three. And
Mm-hmm.
also, husbands form groups just like ladies form groups, like they form
Oh,
their church.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they have one or two groups where they meet and
Uh-huh.
they exchange ideas, they learn from
Mm-hmm.
each other, and they
Mm-hmm.
are able to be mentored well. But I
Mm-hmm.
believe also for those who are keen even to learn from the Word of God,
Mm-hmm.
God is our mentor.
Mm-hmm.
He says so many things in the scriptures that if we follow as men, we are
Mm-hmm.
able to learn how to be good husbands and
Mm-hmm.
fathers for our children, so
Mm-hmm.
that we are mentored to become good people, good husbands, good fathers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What other roles are there for the husband to perform in the marriage?
I believe that another critical role is for the husband to
Mm-hmm.
uplift his wife.
Okay.
There are many situations where
Mm-hmm.
one needs to look at the whole perspective and see that my wife has got certain skills, she has got certain giftings, and all she's lacking maybe is finances to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
so he can empower her financially and tell
Mm-hmm.
her, honey, you can do this. I believe you can try this. And so she
Mm-hmm.
can try with his backing, and she
Mm-hmm.
can be able to do very well, perhaps in a business or some
Mm-hmm.
other venture. And
Mm-hmm.
also morally, to be able to back her in terms of relating in the society, relating
Yeah.
with different people in the society.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when a wife is seen with a husband, uh, it speaks volumes because she's quickly identified as somebody who has got somebody. And so her position is secure, you know.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I believe that he can also be able to follow in certain places where
Mm-hmm.
she needs to make a presentation or she needs to make something. Uh, if he's invited, of course,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to back her up, that is a very solid statement for her. So
Mm-hmm.
that will uplift her also in the way that she's doing things. And
Mm-hmm.
also
Mm-hmm.
in many other things like in physical things. Perhaps she likes a certain sport, or she
Yeah.
likes doing going for the runs in the morning, or going
Mm-hmm.
for walks in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he can join her and empower her also and say, "I'm walking along with you." And so
Yes.
that that means that uh, she is encouraged, she is
Mm-hmm.
empowered to do what
Mm-hmm.
she likes. And
Mm-hmm.
when you do when as a husband you join your wife to do what she likes, then of
Yeah.
course she is secure and protected. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds really good. But Mr. Dixon, think about this. When a woman is really empowered and really doing well, doesn't that make a man insecure?
I think if you look at the position that we talked about,
Yeah.
it doesn't change. The man is still the head of
Mm-hmm.
of the home.
Mm-hmm.
And so by him empowering the wife doesn't change that position.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe that if a man will feel insecure because of the
Mm-hmm.
wife's position,
Mm-hmm.
that it means the thinking is not right somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that thinking needs to be changed so that
Mm-hmm.
he begins to believe first and foremost in himself,
Mm-hmm.
because he should realize his position and he should know what he's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And even if things are not running for him the way they should, he should
Yeah.
know that the position has not changed. And
Mm-hmm.
that does not should not intimidate him. He should
Mm-hmm.
stay on the steering wheel as a husband who
Mm-hmm.
is the head of the home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes husbands may get so intimidated, not even because of the woman being so more empowered than him, but even people have talked about not wanting such a pretty woman because then they will have battles with fellow men every now and again. And so there's that insecurity. They keep asking, where are you? Whom are you with? You know, because they are not settled over something and they wish they married not a pretty woman. They wish they married a woman who was not educated because they are having to fight with many things like all their life.
Yeah. Wishes are always there.
Mm-hmm.
Wishes are always there. And in
Mm-hmm.
fact, you find that the grass is always greener on the other side.
True.
That is a saying that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, when you made a decision
Mm-hmm.
to marry this lady,
Mm-hmm.
it is for life. uh, from where I come from where I stand, it is for
Yeah.
life. And if somebody along the way begins to change their mind, then I
Mm-hmm.
think it is not the right decision. I
Mm-hmm.
think even if you are being influenced by some other forces or some other people, that you made the wrong choice, I
Mm-hmm.
think that should be reevaluated because
Mm-hmm.
marriage is for life. And when you come down and you position yourself well, and you discuss things well, and you
Mm-hmm.
um, are able to do things well, then I'm sure and I'm certain that it works. Marriage works because even God is present in that marriage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's look at the other role of marriage, or rather, for of the husband in marriage, because a lot of marriages are breaking. And like I told you, it is not time for us to keep saying it is this woman. The husband had better take responsibility. So, what other role does he play?
I believe that one of the other goals of the man,
Mm-hmm.
or the position of the man, is that even when you are apart,
Mm-hmm.
you should still be locked together. There are situations where uh, your wife may go and work elsewhere in another
Mm-hmm.
town
Mm-hmm.
because of opposition, or
Mm-hmm.
in another country for
Mm-hmm.
some time because of opposition.
Yeah.
That should not separate the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
You should still be locked together in terms of ideas, in terms of talking, in terms of being just able to appreciate one another. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Being locked together means that even when you're apart, you are together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is just the way you conduct yourself, the way you look at things, and the way you position yourself in all these things
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
you be able to position yourself together.
Mm-hmm. Someone once said a very important statement, and what he said was that the man is the thermostat and the woman is the thermometer. That, interpreted in simple terms, to me would mean that, the man is the one who determines the temperature in the house. How does a man do that, if at all that statement is valid?
Of course, the man is the one who is uh, a final, let me say, a final decision maker.
Mm-hmm.
When things when things have been discussed and things have been agreed, the man makes a final decision, and it is just his position
Mm-hmm.
that is accepted, that that is his position. If he says we go this way or we
Mm-hmm.
don't go this way,
Mm-hmm.
then the wife should accept because that is the position that he has taken. Uh, it would it would be futile that he really relinquishes that position and doesn't decide, and therefore he leaves perhaps his wife to decide when she expects him to make a decision. And
Mm-hmm.
then down the line, things do not turn up well and things do not go well, then he doesn't take the responsibility
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't decide. He says, "Well, I didn't make that decision." So you see,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of home now begins to flutter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go well.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that when he takes the position and makes that decision,
Mm-hmm.
then it also goes with the responsibility of taking the consequences as they come. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We are actually getting out of time, but I'm wondering, which school does a man need to go to train to become a husband, to be able to bear and perform his duties, effectively? Because if he has to make the final decision, truly he must be so equipped. He must be strong enough to bear. Because if you are dangling between two opinions, and then you are the one to make the final decision, you must really be well equipped with knowledge. You must be well equipped, ready to take up the consequences and be accountable for all things that happen in your home. I wonder which school of thought this man has to go to qualify as a good husband.
I don't think there's a particular school that you would go to, or the man
Mm-hmm.
would go to be trained to be a husband. But I believe that insight also comes from God.
Okay.
When the two of you are in a marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and I was being reminded just yesterday of a saying that goes that um, when you play together, when you pray together, you stay together.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you play with your wife, when you
Mm-hmm.
pray with your wife,
Mm-hmm.
you will stay with your wife. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean that there's a particular school that you go, but making a final decision on things that calls for insight, and
Mm-hmm.
insight calls for wisdom, and
Mm-hmm.
wisdom is given by God. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, in this current status of life, when there's a lot of knowledge in books, a lot of knowledge from people, from seminars, from what, and which we can listen to, even from the media. And you can couple all these things and put them together, even before making a decision, and knowing that from what I hear, from what I know, if I pray about this thing, I'll
Mm-hmm.
arrive at the right decision. And so
Okay.
I think that that would help. Mm.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that was really good. Please give us your last role, even as a husband.
Yeah, my last point is that uh, we as a husband,
Mm-hmm.
uh, husbands should relax with their wives. They should not. It's not all time to just work, work, work. Work makes Dick a dull boy.
Mm-hmm.
So you should relax sometimes and just go on holiday, be with your
Mm-hmm.
wife, uh,
Mm-hmm.
show her that you love her,
Mm-hmm.
be affectionate, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, give her the things that she likes, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, just cause her to have a good time,
Mm-hmm.
and she will appreciate you as the husband of her life, and
Mm-hmm.
she'll be talking about you all over the place. My husband did this, my husband did that, my husband, my hubby, my hubby. Yeah, that's my
And
own.
you like to hear that.
Yeah, we like to hear that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. That has really been a good time. And I hope that husbands who are listening out there were able to pick a few points from you and also be able to apply it in their lives and try out if it actually works for them. I like the fact that husbands need to listen to their wives. And you mentioned even the reason why they should do so. I am really thankful that you were able to join us and discuss such kinds of counsels with us. I really appreciate. Thank you also, viewer, for taking your time to watch our station and to watch this episode of GBS. At Chungu Jamii, we were talking about the role of a husband today. I hope you have had a good time of educating yourself and getting information that you probably did not have. It has been such a lovely time. My name is Betty Akuku. I was your host. Thank you.